She texted me, "I found someone else. Don't contact me again." I simply replied, "As you wish." The next day, her cards were declined, her new soulmate disappeared, and her lawyer called me begging for a conversation she'd never get. When someone tells you they've found someone else, it doesn't always hit like thunder. Sometimes it lands quietly, like the end of a song you've already known was fading. That's how it felt when Maya's text came through at 10:37 p.m. on a Wednesday night. "I found someone else. I want nothing more to do with you." No call, no argument, no fight leading up to it. Just that message, sitting there on my screen like a final punctuation mark to 3 years of my life. For a minute, I just stared at it. The little delivered symbol blinked under my last unread message to her, a meme I'd sent earlier that day about lazy cats and takeout food. I'd been waiting for her usual, "LOL, you're impossible" face with tears of joy. But instead, I got this. I reread the message twice, maybe 3 times, then placed the phone face down on the coffee table. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the faint echo of city noise from the street below. I didn't text back immediately. I didn't even feel anger. Just calm. Cold calm. You see, I'd been funding Maya's lifestyle for almost 2 years. When we met, she was working part-time at a boutique while studying fashion marketing. I was already established, working remote as a financial consultant, making good money, and living in a modest but comfortable apartment downtown. She was charming, witty, the kind of woman who filled a room with energy. Over time, date nights turned into me paying for weekend getaways. Little gifts became credit card extensions, first for convenience, then for emergencies. Her designer shoes, her beauty treatments, her car insurance, all quietly billed to my name. And I didn't mind. Love makes generosity feel natural. Until it didn't. Over the past few months, I'd noticed distance creeping in. Late replies, canceled plans, new clothes, new perfume, new circles of friends I never met. When I asked who she was spending so much time with, she'd smile and say, "Don't be that guy, Ethan. I need my own life too." Fair enough. I never wanted to be controlling. But when you're the one keeping the lights on, it stings to be made to feel like a burden. So when her text arrived, blunt and clinical, I wasn't shocked. I was released. I took a breath, picked up my phone again, and typed 2 words, "As you wish." Then I opened my banking app. Over the next hour, I removed her name from every shared financial link we had. The credit cards, frozen. The joint account, transferred. The lease, which was under my name, set to expire in 10 days, with no renewal notice. By midnight, Maya's independence had become very, very real. The next morning, I woke up early. There was a sense of clarity that only comes after cutting a rope you didn't realize had been strangling you. My phone lit up with 12 unread messages from Maya. At first, they were triumphant. "Wow, that's all you've got to say? You'll regret this. He actually listens to me. You never did." Then, as hours passed, the tone shifted. "My card isn't working. Did you do something? Ethan, this isn't funny. I can't pay for my ride home. Are you seriously doing this?" I didn't reply. I wasn't cruel. I just didn't see a point in continuing a conversation she had already ended. By 4 p.m., I got a new text. This one was from an unknown number. "Mr. Carter, this is attorney David Lentz. I represent Ms. Maya Rhodes. She wishes to discuss certain financial obligations between you two as soon as possible." I laughed, actually laughed out loud, sitting alone at my desk with a cup of coffee in my hand. Obligations? The only obligation I ever had was love, and she ended that with one text message. That evening, my phone buzzed again, a call from Maya's number. I let it ring out. Then came a voicemail. Her voice was trembling. Brittle. "Ethan, please don't do this. I didn't mean to hurt you, okay? It just happened. Things got complicated, but I didn't think you'd actually cut me off. I'm staying at Liam's for now, but I can't live like this. Just call me back, please." There it was. The "it just happened" defense, the all-purpose apology of the faithless. I deleted the voicemail and went about my evening. But that night, as I sat on the balcony, watching the city lights flicker, I thought about the years I'd invested. The vacations, the promises, the way I'd believed we were building something real. Maybe she did love me once. Or maybe she just loved the version of her life I could afford. 2 days later, Attorney Lenz emailed me formally, citing financial dependency and implied partnership. Apparently, Maya was claiming that since I had financially supported her for so long, she was entitled to temporary assistance as she transitioned out of the relationship. I couldn't help but admire the audacity. I forwarded the email to my lawyer, Sandra, a sharp woman with zero tolerance for nonsense. Her response came 10 minutes later. Tell her attorney to send me everything he's got. We'll have fun with this. Within 24 hours, Sandra dismantled their claim. Every card was in my name. Every account was mine. There was no cohabitation clause, no shared property, no written promise of continued support. Maya had no legal ground, just entitlement dressed as desperation. By the next afternoon, her attorney was no longer calling. The silence that followed was golden. Days passed, and I started noticing how much lighter life felt. No drama, no guilt trips, no emotional manipulation disguised as affection. Just peace. I started working out again, cooked my own meals, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with because Maya didn't vibe with them. One night, I even went out for drinks with my coworker, Renee, who'd always seemed a little too perceptive about my relationship. When she laughed, genuinely laughed, at one of my dumb jokes, I realized how long it had been since I'd felt warmth without strings attached. A week later, I got a final text from Maya. I can't believe how cold you've become. After everything I did for you. I hope you're happy with yourself. I read it twice, smirked slightly, and then typed back. You wanted nothing more to do with me. I'm just respecting your wishes. Blocked. And for the first time in years, I slept soundly. 2 weeks passed since Maya's last message. And for the first time in years, my life actually felt quiet. I deleted her number, blocked her on everything, and cleaned out every trace of her from the apartment. The space looked emptier, but it felt mine again. The kind of peace that comes after a storm. Not silence, but the sound of your own breathing returning. Work was thriving. I was taking on new clients, hitting bigger numbers, and even managed to close a deal that bumped my monthly income by nearly 30%. Freedom, it turns out, is a hell of a motivator. Renee, my coworker, and I had started spending more time together. Nothing serious yet, just good conversation, good food, and the kind of laughter that didn't come with guilt attached. She never pried about Maya, though I could tell she knew the story from the gossip that quietly circulates in any close-knit office. But she let me talk when I wanted to. That meant more than she knew. One night, about 3 weeks after Maya's dramatic, I found someone else text. I got a call from an unknown number. I let it ring out. Then again, a few hours later, same number. Finally, a text popped up. Ethan, please. It's urgent. I recognized the rhythm of those words immediately. Maya. Against my better judgment, I opened the message. You won't believe what he did. Liam, the guy I left you for. He took my card, spent everything in my account, and now he's ghosted me. I don't have rent this month. Please, can we just talk? I'm not asking for money, just a chance to explain. There it was, the inevitable crash landing. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Instead, I locked my phone, finished my tea, and smiled faintly to myself. I'd seen this movie before. She just thought she was the director. Over the next few days, her messages trickled in sporadically. I messed up. He wasn't who I thought he was. You're the only one who ever actually cared about me. I still have your things. Can we meet to exchange them? But here's the truth. I didn't want my things. What she still had of mine wasn't worth the price of reopening that door. So I did what I'd been practicing, silence. Real, clean, undisturbed silence. And then something unexpected happened. Her mother called me. It was a Thursday afternoon when I saw her name pop up on my screen. I hadn't spoken to Mrs. Rhodes in over a year. Not since the time Maya and I visited her family for Christmas, and she subtly hinted that her daughter deserved more than spreadsheets and home-cooked meals. I hesitated but answered. Mrs. Rhodes. Her voice came through shaky, hesitant. Ethan, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but could you please tell Maya to come home? She's not doing well. I frowned. She hasn't spoken to me since she left. I know, she said softly, but she's too proud to admit she's struggling. She thought she could build something with that new man, but he's been living off her. Took her savings, her car, and vanished. She's been staying with a friend, and, well, I think she realizes she made a terrible mistake. There was a pause, a long, uncomfortable one. Then she added, she still loves you, you know. I didn't answer right away. I was too focused on the bitter irony that the same woman who once dismissed me as not ambitious enough was now telling me her daughter needed help. I hope she figures things out, I finally said. But that chapter's closed for me. And with that, I ended the call. The next few weeks were peaceful again. Renee and I started officially dating, slow, steady, real. No games, no manipulation. She was kind, grounded, funny in that sarcastic way that always disarmed me. Life was simple until Maya found a new way to re-enter it. It started with an Instagram notification. Someone had tagged me in a post at Maya Rhodes, shared your photo. My stomach turned slightly as I clicked it. It was an old picture of us, from when we'd gone to Cabo 2 summers ago. I was smiling at the camera, arms around her as the sun set behind us. Her caption, "Some mistakes haunt you forever. Some people you never stop loving." Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. And just like that, my phone exploded. Friends, coworkers, even old classmates messaging me with, "Dude, what happened?" Or "She's posting about you again." But I didn't respond publicly. I didn't need to. Her desperation was already on display for the world to see. A few hours later, she texted me directly. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for how everything went down. I didn't realize how much I hurt you until I saw how empty life is without you. I miss us." I stared at it for a full minute before replying. The first time I'd texted her since, "As you wish." You miss stability, not me. There's a difference. She didn't respond. For once, she couldn't twist the words into a game. A week later, Renee and I were at a restaurant when Maya walked in. The universe has a sick sense of humor sometimes. She looked different. Not bad, just smaller somehow. Her confidence had wilted. She froze when she saw me, and then saw Renee sitting across from me, laughing softly as she reached for my hand. Our eyes met. For a second, I saw all the recognition in her expression, every wrong decision she'd made, every bridge she'd burned. She didn't come over, just turned around and walked straight out the door. Renee noticed my brief silence. "Ex?" she asked gently. I nodded. "Yeah, the ghost of who I used to be." She smiled. "Good thing ghosts can't touch you anymore." That night, as we drove home, I got one final message from Maya. "You were right. I didn't miss you. I missed being loved by someone who meant it. Take care of yourself." No anger, no bargaining, just honesty, late but real. I replied with one final text. "I already am." Then I blocked her number again. For good this time. 6 months have passed. Half a year since that text that started it all. I found someone else. It's strange how fast a life can shift when you stop begging someone to see your worth and start living like you already have it. Since then, I've moved cities, bought a small condo overlooking the river, and built something that finally feels like mine. My work took off. 2 promotions, one major contract, and a raise I once thought impossible. I don't say that to brag. It's just wild how much lighter everything becomes when you're not carrying someone else's chaos anymore. But the biggest change? I'm happy. Not loud, Instagram story happy. Quiet, grounded, real happy. Renee's part of that, too. It's funny. She came into my life like background music I didn't realize I needed. Steady, calm, unpretentious. We started officially dating 3 months ago, and it's easy. No drama, no guessing games. Just two people trying to build something with honesty. One evening, we were cooking dinner together when my phone buzzed. An email notification, legal correspondence, Maya Rhodes. I froze for a second. It wasn't from her directly, but from a law office. Renee noticed the look on my face. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, though I wasn't sure yet. I opened the email. "Dear Mr. Carter, we are reaching out on behalf of Ms. Rhodes in an attempt to settle certain unresolved financial and personal matters. Ms. Rhodes wishes to express her regret for previous actions and requests a chance to meet in person to discuss closure and restitution for any misunderstandings that may have occurred during the dissolution of your relationship." Restitution. That word made me laugh out loud. Renee raised an eyebrow. "You gonna reply?" "No," I said, closing the laptop. That chapter ended a long time ago. But I'll be honest, curiosity got the better of me. A few days later, a friend from my old neighborhood messaged me. "Dude, saw Maya at the cafe near the pier. Looked rough. Heard she's back living with her mom." Apparently, after her ex Liam drained her accounts and vanished, she'd lost her apartment. The fancy car she bragged about on Instagram? Repossessed. The lifestyle she once flaunted, luxury bags, private dinners, front row concerts, all gone. Her mom had let her move back in temporarily, but even that wasn't going well. Word was, Maya's mother had found out she'd been lying about her job situation and still trying to borrow money from old friends. When I heard that, I didn't feel triumph, just closure. The circle had completed itself. Because here's the truth, I once loved that woman. Deeply. Enough to overlook all the red flags, to excuse the condescension, to fight for someone who was never really fighting with me, only against herself. And when she left, I thought I'd lost everything. Turns out, I'd just lost an illusion. 3 weeks later, I was at a charity event for the shelter where I'd donated that Valentine's jewelry months ago. They'd invited me as a guest speaker to talk about community support programs. Ironic, since that donation was born from heartbreak. I told the story, lightly edited. No names, no bitterness, just truth. About love, ego, loss, and how helping others helped me heal myself. The crowd clapped, but what mattered most was how peaceful it felt to say it aloud without anger anymore. Afterward, as people mingled, I saw someone near the back of the room. Maya. She looked hesitant, holding a small envelope. I froze for a heartbeat, then nodded politely. She approached slowly. Ethan, she said softly, I didn't expect you to actually be here. I was invited, I said evenly. You? She gave a faint, embarrassed laugh. Volunteering. Trying to get my life back on track. There was no makeup this time, no designer clothes. No mask. Just a woman stripped of the armor she'd once worn too tightly. I just wanted to say, she continued, voice trembling. You were right. About everything. About me, about us. I thought I wanted adventure, freedom, something exciting. But what I really wanted was stability, and I confused that with boredom. I said nothing, just listened. She took a shaky breath and handed me the envelope. It's your grandmother's ring. I kept it. I shouldn't have, but I couldn't bring myself to sell it. It didn't feel right. I took the envelope, weighed it in my hand. Thank you, I said finally. That means more than you think. Her eyes glistened. You're doing well. I saw the articles about your firm. I'm proud of you. I smiled, small but genuine. Thanks, Maya. I hope you find what you're looking for. She nodded, tears threatening to fall. Then, quietly, you already gave me what I needed. A lesson I'll never forget. We parted without anger, without promises. Just closure. And that, I realized, was the most poetic ending possible. That night, I went home and placed the ring on my desk, not as a relic of the past, but as proof that I'd survived it. Renee noticed it the next day. Old ring? She asked curiously. Old story, I said. One that's finished. She smiled, touched my arm. Then maybe it's time to start a new one. 6 months ago, I was the guy who got dumped over text, heartbroken, humiliated, stripped of pride. Now, I'm the man who learned that peace doesn't come from getting revenge or closure from someone else. It comes from refusing to chase people who walk away. Maya found what she thought she wanted. I found what I actually needed. Freedom, self-respect, and a future I built with my own hands.